Hi again, children. Today's story is called Big Enemy, Bigger God. And it's the story of Gideon, which is one of my favourite stories in the Bible. I like Gideon. God's people had done wrong. They were fighting and arguing and they cheated, and God had to punish them. A great army attacked their country. The Israelites were scared and they ran away and hid in caves. Then the people prayed for help, and God heard their prayers, and he gave them a leader whose name was Gideon. Gideon gathered an army. It had 32,000 men. What a lot of people. But God said, "No, Gideon, your army is too big." So Gideon said to the army, "Anybody that is scared can go home now." Lots of the men went straight home to their families. Now Gideon's army was much smaller, but God said, "Your army is still too big." So Gideon took his men to a stream. "Have a drink," said Gideon. Most of the men put their faces into the river to drink, and Gideon sent all of those men home. But a few people cupped the water into their hands and drank it like that. So Gideon kept those men. Now Gideon only had 300 men. Even he was scared. What could he do with such a small army? So God said, "Go to the enemy's camp and listen to what they have to say." So when it was night time and the soldiers were all having a little chat, Gideon and his friends were listening to what they said. "I had a silly dream," Gideon heard a man say. "A loaf of bread bounced into our camp and knocked over a tent." "Oh no," said his friend. "That means that Gideon will defeat us." Gideon was glad when he heard this. He could hardly keep from jumping up and down. So Gideon went back happily to his own camp. "God is going to help us win this war," he said. Next, Gideon gave every man a sword, a trumpet, and a torch hidden in a jar. Gideon's men surrounded the enemy's camp, and then Gideon blew his trumpet and smashed his jar, and the torch's light shone out. Immediately, Gideon's men blew their trumpets and smashed their jars. "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!" they shouted. The enemy soldiers were terrified, and they all ran away in their pyjamas because they thought, that there was loads of people around them. But there wasn't. There was only 300. God gave Gideon and his little army a great big victory. The people were safe at last. "Oh, please, Gideon, please rule over us," they said. "No," he said. "God has made us safe again. God will rule over us." And that's the end of Gideon's story. I'll see you again tomorrow for another one. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.